Hi, we're at her house and there's water in all the houses. We're okay, the houses are strong, but there's a lot of water everywhere. Everywhere. Okay, so this is day 2. It's been raining all night, Cyclone Freddy. So our yard has just become a swamp. It's right up onto our veranda, but it didn't come in the house. So completely fine, just means walking through water. We're very grateful, although we have had so many of our friends' houses collapse. We're not really sure what to do there and how to help. Anyway, thanks Cyclone Freddy. Okay, this is Mama Gives house.
G'day, I'm Tim Downs and I'm part of a team of Baptist Mission Australian workers here in a very wet Malawi, which is, you might have heard over the last few days in the news that we've been ravaged pretty much by a really big rain depression which calls itself Cyclone Freddy. And probably for the last 5 days we've received just unusually very high rain. So I guess what it's meaning on the ground for us here is we're down here at a coffee shop precinct, which is one of our sustainability endeavours, and we built the coffee shop about 2 foot above the high water mark, and at the moment we are just getting underwater. So the water is raised 2 foot higher than what it's ever been known to. So it's not so much of a drama for us because whilst our coffee shop's underwater, that's something we'll live with. Where it becomes an issue is that when you live along the riverbank in a grass roof mud hut, well then inevitably your house will just collapse. And that's happened to hundreds of houses in our local community here. You'll see behind me, that's the nursery school where we've actually closed that under government orders. All the schools have been closed and people have been recommended to stay at home. And we've just had to open that school up as an emergency accommodation resource for people. So we've got a few families living in there at the moment, and I envisage that will grow over the next few days. There's an interesting saying we often have in Australia as, let's save that for a rainy day. Well, we have the rainy day here, but we haven't had the savings. In poor communities and countries like Malawi, one of the issues is that people they live very close to their margins. So they don't have that store for rainy days. Their houses have collapsed and they've just had to flee. So it means any food that they've had has often been spoiled. If you try and store maize in this wet sort of weather, it just goes rotten. So some of the issues that we're facing at the moment is mainly shelter. People have nowhere to live and they're scared to leave the homes that have collapsed because people will just come in and steal whatever's left. So they're sort of huddled under some plastic tarps wanting to stay with their home, fearful that things will get stolen, and they have no food. And also, we just heard something on the news from the World Health Organization that Malawi is facing the worst cholera outbreak in history. And, that's been an issue over the last couple of months, but we envisage that will only grow to, being even more serious. At home in our place, like the water table is risen so high that it's the same height as our septics. So I guess what that means practically is when you go to flush a toilet or empty a shower, then there's just nowhere for the water to go.